Hey everyone, this is James from TDB, bringing out another Inbetweenisode. Today I am going to be talking about what I have been dubbing the two-steeper, which is a term for teas that I just want to drink one or two different steeps of. Let me be clear about this too, in the sense that this is a lot about me and my preferences rather than the specific tea. I think someone's two-steeper might be something that someone else wants to brew a bunch of. And this is the way I feel about a lot of different, I would say, non-pu'er teas, some heijias, I suppose, but also a lot of different oolongs, specifically a lot of death roast oolongs, where I'm not the biggest fan of death roast, and when I want it, I just want a little bit of it. It's the sort of teas where I don't know if other people have had this experience, but you're like, the first steep you have it, it's like, oh man, this is great. Why don't I have this more often? The second steep is pretty good. And then you progressively, as the session goes on, you're like, man, I don't even know why I'm still drinking this. And for me, at least, one thing I've gotten a lot better at is in terms of just calling it quits. And so there's certain teas like this where it's like, yeah, I actually only want to have two steeps, and I'm going to dump it. Is it wasteful? Perhaps. But, if I live in a world where I have access to quite a bit of tea, and I'm okay brewing these teas just a couple times. Okay, so what is the tea in question? Well, this is my last little box of it. It's not going to be a restock because I don't think it's totally worth it for me. It's the Jiquan Tieluohan. I think it's a bit of a death roast. It's certainly roasted quite highly. And so it comes in these little 5-gram-ish or so packets. They have a couple different types. It's probably one that's worth checking out for some people. I think some people will like this quite a bit more than I do. But we're going to give this good old guy a couple steeps here and call it, because it is a classic for me, two-steeper. So it comes in this nice little paper packet. We will be diligent about preheating our gaiwan and just getting into this tea right here. Definitely be curious to hear how other people feel, if there's other two steepers or three steepers or one steepers, where you are done with the tea before the tea is totally done. I think one of the reasons it happens for me on oolongs and stuff especially is because those teas tend to be quite dynamic in terms of how they change, in the sense that steep 1 could be very, very different from steep number 2 or 3. And a lot of times for them, I just like the initial steep or so. And then at that point, I don't want to waste caffeine tolerance on drinking too much of it. Okay, so now we give it a quick rinse. See how dark that brews. Yeah, so you can find this guy on Taobao. Not the cheapest thing ever, not the most expensive thing ever. Ooh, that is a roasty boy. Dump that. I'm just going to go ahead and make both steeps right now, because why not? So you see it brews nice and dark. This is an interesting example of tea where I think if I brought this on about a year ago, I probably would have talked more highly of it. But at this point, I think I more correctly have identified it as something that's mostly just okay. If you like this sort of profile. Leaves are maybe not pitch black, but very close to it. If we're talking about the level of roast, I can smell the fragrance coming off of it immediately. I've actually had a decent amount of success serving these teas to other people, which tends to be how I get through stuff like death roast, which I think is not something that I'm going to be stocking very permanently. Okay, I'll take a smell of this. That is just a roasty. So yeah, Tieluohan, I think it's been aged a couple years, but man, that roast is still very strong in it. Cheers. Nice creamy texture. I should let for this let this cool down just a little bit so I can taste it a little bit better. Some minerals. It doesn't quite have that wooey taste yet. Hard to tell the base material of this tea, so definitely something that's not that the roast is going to overpower. The roast is doing a lot of the talking as opposed to the base material here. Nice, rich, brothy, kind of some nice creamy notes to this too. I do like higher roast, but this is a little bit too much roast for my taste personally. But it does do, like, I could drink this tea as kind of like a capper after some shangpur, because after your palate gets to a certain point, it becomes a lot harder to taste, and so sometimes you just got to mix it up completely. For me, at least, I like to end sessions, group sessions, especially on something a little darker, potentially danker, or maybe just simply older. So like an old raw, old ripe, that sort of thing. That's a nice way to enjoy it. You could do something very similar, I think, with this sort of tea too. Its roast is quite strong enough that I do think it might be a little bit strong to follow with something like this. So this is probably something that will end a session rather than start it. Yeah, and I already like this steep quite a bit less. Yeah, I mean, it's still roasty, toasty. You can still get some of those notes. There's a lot of sweetness generated from the roast, but yeah, I'm not even feeling this steep today. So today, I think this 2 steeper is a 1 steeper. Okay, so that just about concludes this episode. Let me know how you liked it. Let me know what teas you have that fit this sort of profile and what you do with them, or if you just simply give them away. I think it's not a bad thing necessarily to have these sorts of teas around, because sometimes you really just have time for a 5-minute, 10-minute session, and having something like this is still nice in that sense. So I don't necessarily fault people if they do like to stock stuff like this. So thank you all for tuning in. I will see you all next time. Cheers.